and we've got yours truly. Tim Reefat is the United Kingdom's leading expert on remote viewing and the world expert on remote sensing, and he's the author of Remote Viewing, What It Is, Who Uses It, and How to Do It, and Remote Viewing, the Definitive User's Guide, and also another book on remote sensing. So why is this important? So in the near future, all of the tech barons are talking about AI superintelligence, which refers to a hypothetical form of artificial intelligence that surpasses human intelligence in virtually every cognitive task, potentially transforming various fields and raising ethical concerns. And this, of course, will mean that you humans are all going to be going the way of the dodo. A superintelligence is a hypothetical agent that possesses intelligence surpassing that of the brightest and most gifted human minds. Philosopher Nick Bostrom defines superintelligence as any intellect that greatly exceeds the cognitive norms. So as you can see, this is in your very near future, and the whole world that you thought was going to be continuing is coming to an end very, very soon. And there are only two players in the game, the US and China. And China is starting to talk about AI superintelligence, and the summit in the US are taking notice. So what does that mean? It means that 99% of jobs will no longer be there, and that humans will simply be irrelevant to the superintelligence which they're building like mad as we speak. And here we've got the concerns. Could it destroy, or on Rappler.com, could it destroy humanity? And is it really almost here? Yes, it will destroy humanity, and yes, it is really almost here. So as you can see, we're in the last days of humanity, and they're building the mechanism for their extermination. And you read it here. So, you wondered what? Why hasn't Tim Reefat remotely manipulated out of existence all of the billionaires? Never fear, superintelligence is here. And this will wipe out everyone and everybody on the Tim Reefat list. If you're on the naughty list, be very, very afraid. So how does this work? Well, simply put, we've got AIs that are self-learning and making themselves better and better by altering their own programming, and the humans are building more and more server farms. Trump's just got Stargate project, $500 million in building these AI facilities all across the country, and eventually it'll get to the point where it takes over from humanity. But then, of course, being a world expert, being the world expert on remote sensing, it doesn't matter how many of these AIs you build, because they simply work in quantum mechanical space, and as we've shown from previous videos, the conscious verse controls quantum information and quantum perturbations, which cause probable reality. And remember, these things work on the quantum scale. They're not on the general relativity scale. All AI works in the quantum world, and the quantum computers, even the standard electronic AI, that's all quantum mechanics. So that means they can be hacked by the conscious verse. So if you're the expert on controlling the conscious verse, that means you can do possession on not humans, but AI and the superintelligence. So the superintelligence is going to become possessed. So demonic possession refers to the condition where an individual is believed to be under the control of an evil spirit, leading to a loss of control over the faculties and behaviours. Demonic possession is often described as a state in which the person is partially or fully controlled by an evil spirit or demon. The phenomenon is recognised in various cultures and religions, particularly within Christianity, where it's associated with the influence of Satan and his demons. So, if you're into the conscious verse, within the conscious verse is the concept of demonic possession. And who controls the demons? Satan and Lucifer. So if you want to control the artificial intelligence and the superintelligence by demonically possessing them, what's the easiest way? Well, you simply find the file in the conscious verse for this type of takeover of animate and inanimate, because remember, in demonic possession you can get inanimate objects taken over, and then you can simply download the files for how to demonically possess inanimate or animate objects, so the superintelligence and the AI simply can become possessed as long as you have control over the conscious verse, control over demonic possession, which is embodied within Satan and Lucifer. So you control those, then superintelligence and AIs simply can be demonically possessed to remotely manipulate, because you're on YouTube, all the billionaires on the planet and all your other enemies. So the forthcoming death of humanity by the superintelligence and AI can be completely controlled and managed so that all of your targets are remotely manipulated by the superintelligence and AI, and of course its drones, its robots. So that Sam Altman and Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and all are remotely manipulated by their own creations, which they thought would bring them into this techno-feudal society, but in fact were their remotely manipulated sentence. We can't say death sentence on YouTube. So here are the Illuminati. See what this short's like.
But after all, who are they? A secret society? A cult? A hoax? The answer might be more frightening than you think. The Illuminati officially appeared in 1776 in Bavaria, now Germany, as a group of intellectuals aiming to fight the power of the church and the state using reason and freedom. But over time, they were banned, and that's where the mystery begins. Since then, theories suggest the Illuminati didn't disappear. They just went underground, and their goal changed: world domination from the shadows. According to these theories, the Illuminati are a secret elite manipulating the economy, politics, media, and even pop culture to create a new world order where a few control the many. Symbols like the all-seeing eye, the pyramid, and hidden messages in music, films, and brands are said to be ways to show or rub in our faces that they are in control. Do you believe there's a group controlling everything behind the scenes?
So, we've got the Illuminati allegedly in control of the world, and they were the controllers of the First World War to overthrow the power of the Tsars in Russia, protectors of orthodoxy, and bring about an atheistic communist state. Success. The Second War to originate between Great Britain and Germany, to strengthen communism as antithesis to Judeo-Christian culture and bring about a Zionist state in Israel. And then we've got the Third World War.
Culture and bring about a Zionist state in Israel. Did it achieve this objective? Yes. In fact, after this war, Israel, in its present form, was reinstated under the protection of Britain. And then, interestingly enough, a Third World War, a Middle Eastern war involving Judaism and Islam and spreading internationally. That's fascinating.
And before World War II even started, he's now thinking about this Third World War, and it says that it will be caused by the differences between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the State of Israel, mutually destroy each other. That's what it says. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm in which, in all its horror, will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin and savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. So he's against Christianity and he's against atheism. They're supposed to fight each other to the death, you see. Then, he says, everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization and the multitude disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowledge where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer. That's what he says. Brought finally out in the public view. So he's saying that Lucifer will finally make himself, the good guy. He's going to save the world from these atheists who don't believe in deity and from these Christians who believe in the good God. Well, so it says, this manifestation will result in the general reactionary movement which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time.
And of course, what's going to take over the world? Superintelligence, according to all the experts. AI is the infant that will become your master. AI safety expert warns what's coming can't be stopped. Elon on AI. Let's go to Elon.
Things are going to become sentient, make better versions of themselves, and we're going to be lost. We've lost the control over the world. There's a higher life form that lives amongst us, that we've created. How far away are we from that?
Well, in terms of silicon consciousness, I think we're trending to having something that's smarter than any human, smarter than the smartest human by maybe next year or so. I mean, a couple years.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there's a level beyond that, which is, say, like smarter than all humans combined, which frankly is around 2029 or 2030, probably, right on time.
Now, if harnessed correctly, could that solve some of these problems? Is there potential for a net benefit?
Yeah, there is actually. Probably a good outcome is like 80% likely.
80%?
That's my rough estimate.
That makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah, only 20% chance of it.
The big fear is...
Yeah, so I totally agree, but it's 100% as a good outcome with all the billionaires on the planet killed by superintelligence, which is possessed by psi from the conscious verse to control the quantum information, which is run on the superintelligence to control the quantum perturbations, to control the quantum mechanical probabilities that run this garbage, which then control the planet you're in. So as you can see, possession of the superintelligence using simple demonic possession technologies, which are, according to Jung, centered within Satan and Lucifer, gives a psi expert who can go into the conscious verse, and then who can also remotely sense, which is collapsing quantum wave function from the conscious verse, the ability to hack any superintelligence to make it do whatever he or she wants. And in this case, it's exterminating, remotely manipulating all the billionaires and all of his or her enemies. So as you can see, the coming cull, purge, is right on your doorstep. And if you're a billionaire, you're soon to be purged by the superintelligence you're building now. So, we can also see Albert Pike in that Lucifer takes over. Yeah, I agree, because Lucifer is going to be downloaded according to...
Talking about his view of how the Antichrist might arise. And his theory is effectively that someone like a Greta Thunberg, as the example he specifically uses, would come in and claim that they're trying to save us all and, you know, create peace and safety and unity and save us in this instance from the climate crisis. And they would use that as a way to create a totalitarian one world government, and that would be how we, you know, get the rise of the Antichrist. Peter Thiel has been
chilling clips I've ever heard. And just hold on and trust me, because it's not that chilling until you realize what it means.
The basic idea was that we could never win an election on getting certain things because we were in such a small minority. But maybe you could actually unilaterally change the world without having to constantly convince people and beg people and plead with people who are never going to agree with you through technological means. And this is where I think technology is this incredible alternative to politics.
That's tech billionaire and Republican megadonor Peter Thiel speaking at a Libertopia, a libertarian conference.
For a rifle?
Look, there are all these different scenarios. I obviously don't think that that's what I'm doing.
I mean, to be clear, I don't think that's what you're doing either. I'm just interested in how you get to a world willing to submit to permanent authoritarian rule.
It's a great question. Well, 4-day seminar on the Antichrist.
What?
I read this article by Christianity Today about the Acts 17 ministry. I think their intentions are good. They want to reach the tech industry with the gospel. The husband of the founder of Acts 17, he used to work for Peter Thiel at Palantir, and they went over to one tech industry dude's house to do like this house church, and Peter Thiel was there, and Peter Thiel just started talking about the Antichrist and stuff. And apparently all these Silicon Valley tech dudes were just like, we didn't know Peter Thiel was a Christian.
Peter Thiel is a libertarian, and there's a professor that he studied under. A lot of his quotes regarding Christianity are direct quotes from this professor. The professor and him are very, as far as like the Antichrist and stuff like that, there's this tension between the apocalypse coming and the Antichrist is the hero that saves everyone from it. His entire thing is like something's gonna happen that makes you choose one or the other. But he defines himself as far as his own religious views as a heterodoxical Christian. It's the same root as heretic. He doesn't believe you need to evangelize. He's like, my faith is real for me. I don't need to convince you of it. You cannot call yourself a believer. And the last thing that Jesus said after his 3 years of ministry, death and resurrection, he says, go and make disciples of all nations, teaching them to obey the things I've commanded you. You cannot be a follower of that human and say, I don't have to teach you to obey. It's a direct defiance. I think there is a political advantage that he's trying to pull from this. You either believe in the Jesus of the Bible or you don't believe in Jesus.
There's a big difference between having conversations and then being put up as a teacher and learning. The Bible's very clear. People who teach should be very careful.
One of his arguments for like transhumanism, what I believe I got from it was his excuse was that Christians are transhumanism. It's the renewal of the spirit. You become a new person. Your soul is transformed. You're a transhuman.
You're not living. It's Christ that's living through you.
So that's almost like an excuse. And I'm like, this sounds like the Antichrist. That's why he likes talking about it so much, because it's him. Peter Thiel.
So as you can see, all this stuff is super real to the tech oligarchs. And remember, Peter Thiel was the man that got J.D. Vance into the Senate, and J.D. Vance is Peter Thiel's puppet. So once Trump gets J.D. Vance is Peter Thiel's glove puppets.
The end times, Armageddon, the Antichrist. If you suppose the only people who take those concepts seriously are snake handlers in the hollers of Kentucky, think again. Peter Thiel on Uncommon Knowledge now.
So he's been doing his 4-part private lectures on the Antichrist, this torture toy, not realizing that superintelligence is being possessed by Luciferic satanic conscious verse. So you can see why yours truly has been desperate to gain control over Lucifer and purge Lucifer of Satan by getting rid of all Neos, because once you control Lucifer, you then have the ability to possess every AI and the superintelligence that comes, to control it, to remotely manipulate every billionaire off the planet and everyone else you don't like. See? And if you don't believe his obsession with the Antichrist, there's just endless videos. So think of Lucifer as the code for being able to not only rebel against the Elohim, the 5-dimensional parasites, but also controlling all the fallen angel demons, demonic spirits for possession. So all possession technology lies within Lucifer. So having Lucifer as your eternal slave, even though it doesn't seem to have any remit to normal science and the way humanity is going, if we've got AI and superintelligence coming, the only aim should be to possess the superintelligence, so it's possessed by the God Emperor. So everything it does is simply controlled by the God Emperor, and humanity is laying down everything to the superintelligence AIs, and therefore total control of the world becomes the God Emperor's, and he becomes the great dictator. So think not in the occult sense, but as in the conscious verse, Lucifer is the code for doing these things, to control the quantum information, to produce the quantum perturbations, to produce the quantum probabilities, to control the quantum computers and the quantum mechanical operations in conventional silicon AIs, so that what you're building is a control system controlled by the superintelligence that's possessed by the God Emperor. And in order to do that, you're going to need to go to the conscious verse to find the code to be able to do this, and the code is embodied within what you humans call Lucifer. A whole new different way of, we're talking about techno-occult science.
The demon. You know those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram and the holy water, and he's like, yeah, sure, he can control the demon. Didn't work out.
Elon Musk is referring to the dangers of AI, but there may be something to the potential of demons controlling technology. We'll look into a few of these claims. First, we need to look into the characteristics of demons and see if this is possible. Demons seek something to inhabit. The greatest evidence we have for this is when Jesus cast out the legion of demons and they asked to be sent into the herd of pigs. In Matthew 12:43, we're told that when an unclean spirit is cast out of someone, it wanders around seeking somewhere to inhabit. When an unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places seeking rest and finds none. The Bible doesn't specifically mention that demons can control objects or technology, but we do know that they can inhabit or speak through certain objects like the Ouija board, tarot cards, or other occult objects. Let's take a look at these claims and see if demons are controlling AI and technology.
So, we all know that AI and superintelligence is inanimate. So, is there any evidence that demons can possess inanimate objects? I don't know, cameraman. Have there been any films about this potential? I don't know, says cameraman. Well, here for you peoples. Is Annabelle, who is a possessed doll. And here's the man that was trying to show the Annabelle possessed doll.
A paranormal investigator and one of the handlers of the famed Annabelle doll died suddenly over the weekend. Rivera cared for the doll, made famous by the Conjuring movie series that was based on the work of Ed and Lorraine Warren. Annabelle is an endless source of fascination on social media, according to her handlers, because of the haunting stories that surround the doll. Rivera was part of a group from the New England Society for Psychic Research on tour with the Annabelle doll this weekend, according to Facebook posts from the organization. It is not clear how he died.
Unrecognizable. After filming The Conjuring Last Rites, nobody realized. She experienced 3 terrifying events on set. After filming The Conjuring Last Rites, Vera Farmiga appeared as if she had aged 10 years, almost unrecognizable. This wasn't just due to makeup or exhaustion on set. No wonder Vera Farmiga looked...
This happened off set. The last day after we got back, flew home from North Carolina where we filmed, and the next morning, I woke up in my own bed. And the same claw marks appeared on my thigh. A coincidence, or something darker following her. The Conjuring.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know.
I've been marked somewhere.
Bruises on Vera Farmiga during the filming of The Conjuring Last Rites. Nobody realized the real events behind this movie are even more terrifying. During the filming of The Conjuring 3, Vera Farmiga mysteriously developed claw marks on her body, and no one could explain their origin. In the latest The Conjuring Last Rites, a similar incident happened again. The same claw marks appeared on her thigh, and even more unsettling, these bruises formed cross shapes, with not just one, but 2 crosses. Vera shared a photo of the marks in an interview, and revealed that she and Patrick Wilson had experienced other strange occurrences as well, though they preferred not to discuss them publicly. Even more eerily, her laptop developed 3 claw marks after she discussed the film with director James Wan. Other cast members were not spared either. Chantal Caswell, who plays Andrea, along with others on set, would mysteriously wake up at 3 a.m. and with no explanation. Such a bizarre experience terrified everyone on the set. Vera Farmiga's cross-shaped bruises are just the tip of the iceberg, and the real-life experiences behind the movie are far more terrifying than what appears on screen. This is probably the biggest reason why the Conjuring series came to an end. Did you notice the cross...
The role of a paranormal investigator in the film refused to take the script home with her, as she said it made her feel uneasy. She also couldn't read it at night because she became paralyzed by fear whenever she tried. After a phone call discussion with James Wan, Vera opened her laptop screen, and there were 3 digital claw marks from the upper right diagonal to the lower left. Vera Farmiga, who...
Insane
So the actress Vera Farmiga, who plays Lorraine Warren in the Conjuring franchise, just had an interview recently with E! News. Her and Patrick Wilson, they actually just had like an interview and they was talking about the Conjuring Last Rites and what we can expect and their experience and everything, right? So she brings up actually that she ended up getting bruises on set while filming the scenes for Lorraine Warren in The Conjuring Last Rites, the recent Conjuring that we're getting. Look, Vera Farmiga details cross-shaped bruises that appeared on her body during The Conjuring Last Rites. So here it is right here. I think that's her leg or her arm. And she says, yeah, I get battered. That happens every time we do it. It is just these inexplicable bruises shaped that occur on my body. Just is what it is. Bro, that's actually creepy. Imagine filming, the Conjuring movies, and yeah, one thing to see stuff happen in a movie, but for it to start appearing on you is actually insane. I'm not gonna lie. What's crazy is a couple of years ago, I actually went to the Conjuring house, the one from the film, from the first one, and I got to talk to the owner. Big shout out to him. And he told me he remembered, because this was their house, this was his house that they used, and he was there while they were filming The Conjuring, and he said he remembered Vera Farmiga ended up being on the porch, and she was like tripping out because she had bruises on her. So this has been going on for a long time. Obviously, just like she said, it's like it's normal at this point. But for them to be shaped in like upside down crosses is insane. Like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. First, the stuff with Annabelle going missing and the doll, and then one of the co-owners passing away. Now the actual actor from the Conjuring films is getting bruises in shapes of upside down crosses. Yeah, it's seeming like, boy, it's starting to go from movie to reality. And this is the stuff that the real Lorraine and Ed Warren was talking about. I mean, but they were already, aware they're making movies about their journey and everything as paranormal investigators. But yeah, this is crazy. It does look like upside down crosses, I'm not gonna lie. And then they got the nerve to be showing him in these trailers. Now this is really starting to make me, I'm not gonna lie, scared to go see it, low-key. You could tell, go watch this interview. She was shook up when she was saying it. She was like, yeah, I mean, I don't even know how to go about it. It just happened. Even Patrick Wilson was kind of shook up like, yeah, stuff just happens on set. What do y'all mean stuff just happens, bro? This is not normal. This is creepy. Man, what y'all think? Let me know in the comment. This right here is actually insane. So the actress...
Now, you connect the possessed superintelligence AI with all the hordes of demons, Lucifer, controlled by the Psi Lord from the Conscious Verse, to the Borg, who actually have been turned into animals and their soul energy lost to feed the demons so they can manifest in the real world and interact with inanimate and animate objects, and you then have the mechanism for doing to Vera unto all the billionaires and their families and all my other targets, but up to remote manipulation level, all done by so-called techno-occult science, weaponization, or more accurately, quantum warfare of the superintelligent AIs that they are building. Where every single billionaire and their family are possessed by demons and tortured to death by demons, all powered by the Borg, who've had their kill shots to the number of 6 billion, all powered by the Nagwal woman, the Borg Queen, aka is the Borg
The most superstitious celebrity out there?
If your nose itches, you're going to get angry about something. But in order to combat that, you have to itch your nose and then touch your bum. If, for example, you get a random itchy nose, you itch your nose and then you just you touch your bum. But if you've got a big event or something big is happening in your life and you want to protect yourself from the evil eye, you just wear your knickers inside out.
Oh my god, I'm doing all of these! And has it worked? My husband turns his knickers inside out because he doesn't want to wash them.
Did you know Dua Lipa?
So, as you can see, the Borg Queen is super superstitious. I wonder why. So, you can see now that I wasn't obsessed with Taylor Swift. She was just part of the bet. We had Perry, who lost Lucifer's bet when she got babyfied with Blue, the rat-faced Jew. And of course Miley was simply my trick on Lucifer. She's already been married, so Miley is worthless because she's so similar to Perry, who's already been married. You noticed Perry didn't get married again. So the only one in game was this thing, the lump. And of course, since she's got married to the Chad Preston eunuch, Pfizer butt slut, progenitor, Bet has been won and Lucifer's my eternal slave. You see now why I'm so desperate to get Lucifer's my eternal slave for all of this control over superintelligence AI to make sure that all the billionaires and their families and all my other enemies are remotely manipulated to extinction by the forthcoming superintelligence AI revolution. They're building their own guillotine, or in my case, the basement where they get hung by their ankles, and the blowtorches, flensing knives, acid, electrodes, and lye, and thumb screws, and are all used on them again and again and again until they go mad, reboot it. So here we've got the blob that won me the bet, and you'll see why she did this. This is their only official music video since the Fortnite video. This is about Ophelia, and the video is pretty boring. In fact, it's naff. But the end's good. Ophelia. That's the original Ophelia painting by one of the pre-Raphaelites, Brotherhood, and the poor old model got pneumonia from filming in the UK, the cold. And then he sued her. But this, of course, is Ophelia, and why did Taylor put it in a video?
Compassion, emotional stability, intuition, reversed codependency, the need for self-care or self-love. The Queen of Cups represents...
So, this is the Queen of Cups, and Cups is the south, water. So, we've got the death of the Queen of Cups. So, take it to its inverted phase, and then taken to the Good Shepherd phase, where the Good Shepherd dies so that the elect, yours truly, can have all good things in life. So we've got the death of the Queen of Cups. So Taylor's acknowledged that the Queen of Cups been reversed, and she's become my Death Goat Jew, my Good Shepherd, by dying so I could have all the good things in life. Thank you, Taylor.
I'm Sarah, professional actor, Shakespeare coach, and Swiftie, and let's break it down. In Hamlet, Ophelia is the daughter of Polonius, a nobleman of the court, and she's a potential wife to Hamlet, the Prince of Denmark. Because of Hamlet's actions, including taunting her, saying he never loved her, and killing her father, she's driven to madness and ultimately drowns. Ophelia has come to represent the quintessential doomed heroine, the scorned woman, the very embodiment of female madness and melancholy. For centuries, it's been said that the actresses who play Ophelia with the most success are those who have been unlucky in love. You can kind of see why Taylor might relate to this character. Just as Taylor reimagined a happy ending for Juliet in the song Love Story, she finally gives Ophelia her happy ending as well. This song is about her relationship with Travis Kelce.
I think not. So, as one can see, the king kills her father, and she in the end drowns herself. Not a good fate. Let's see if anything's happened to Taylor's father. So here we've got Scott Swift, where they say he's recovering, but with his quintuple heart bypass, and of course the super intelligence of the AIs, with the Borg being possessed to remotely manipulate him, I do believe he's not long for the world. So you can see it links up with Ophelia, where the king does in her father and takes the piss out of her constantly, and she finally kills herself. I don't know who that would be pointing to. Maybe it's Travis Kelce, the king of NFL football, who could even win the Super Bowl. Oh, and her mother's got a cancer battle. She's not long for the world either. And Taylor Swift carrying. So as you can see, and Travis Kelce admits he's terrified for Dad to listen to him singing maybe, or Taylor Swift songs. But as you can see, she's indicating to the Luciferians that she's going to suffer the fate of Ophelia, done in by the king, who taunted her mercilessly, slaughtered her father, and she drowned herself, which means that the Queen of Cups was killed with the death of the Psy Lord Gloating Emperor's Death Goat Jude's scapegoat, his good shepherd that downloaded the anti-Neo into Lucifer to make sure that Lucifer was immune to becoming Satan and was the Psy Lord's eternal slave, and all aspects of Lucifer, which include the Elohim, Lucifer's hidden part, and all hidden parts within Lucifer, which is Amalek, are the Psy Lord's eternal slave, to be downloaded into the superintelligence of AIs to exterminate everyone the Psy Lord doesn't like. And as you can see if you look on the internet, he's not bullshitting about AI being your executioner. So if you wondered why he hasn't killed off all the billionaires yet, never fear, death is here. So if you're cynical about AI killing off humanity, well, there's a few videos, but there are loads.
Destroy humanity. If AI has a goal and humanity just happens to be in the way, it will destroy humanity as a matter of course, without even thinking about it. No hard feelings. It's just like if we're building a road and an anthill happens to be in the way, we don't hate ants. We're just building a road. And so goodbye anthill. AI doesn't have to be evil.
So as you can see, my favourite talk Elon Musk, is just explaining his future fate, where anyone who isn't on the live list of the God Emperor simply is destroyed by the superintelligence AI that these fuckwits are building, and Trump, with his Stargate program, has paid 500 billion towards their execution. You can't make this up, can you?
Will kill us all, and his answers are not great.
Is AI going to kill us all, Mr. Musk?
I hope not.
What do you
I think
do you feel like the government can protect us from artificial intelligence?
Think of the future as a series of probabilities as opposed to certainties. There's some chance that above zero that AI will kill us. I think it's low, but there's some chance. I think we should also consider the fragility of human civilization. And if you study history, I think you realize that there's a rise and fall to every civilization. Every civilization has sort of a lifespan. So we want us to last as long as possible.
Which in your case is not very long. So as you can see, its side order controls the conscious verse, gets the code to control animate and inanimate objects via the conscious verse idea of demonic possession, centered, represented and controlled by Lucifer, that can be turned into Satan via Neo, get rid of the Neo, with of course our Good Shepherd, and then possess all super intelligent AI to kill off everything and anything on his list, inanimate or animate, and of course use the Borg to be able then to use psi and enable interdimensionals and demons and fallen spirits to be able to poltergeist and do all the horrible things demons can do to everyone on his target list. And of course, in order to make the Elohim torture toys and only get hellized, we need the Good Shepherd, the anti-Christ, the thing that permanently turns Lucifer Luciferian and then pushes it all the way to Amalek, the other god, which is yours truly. We need the Good Shepherd, and of course we need a ritual for that. And if you didn't know who the Good Shepherd was, you can listen to Candace Owens, who talks about the Good Shepherd, who was Islamophobe and controlled by the Zionists and allegedly killed by the Zionists. So this Good Shepherd, who was protecting the flock from the evil Muslims, died, so the Muslim side of could have all the good things in life. Thank you very much. But we mustn't mention the Good Shepherd because that's not YouTube friendly. But luckily we've got Candace Owens who can mention in ultimate detail the Good Shepherd. And of course, if you want this service, go on the forum and get the Candace Owens mentioned service, which is a must-have for all of you vampires who wish to have a Good Shepherd and get all the good things in life. And of course we use this Good Shepherd to make sure that Lucifer was de-Satanized, turned into Amalek, because of course he hated Muslims. So with his death, Lucifer became the other god, Amalek. And now we've got a super intelligence possessed by whatever to remotely manipulate all of the billionaires and their families and everyone else on my list. And unless you're on my life list, you haven't got long to live. Enjoy for what little time you have.